Hey you guys, welcome back to another podcast of I'm Not Okay with Danny G. It's me, Danny G, back at it again. And yes, I was gone for not 1 week, but 2 weeks. And I'm sure the very small audience I have was like, I guess she's over it. Nah, I'm back. I was just going through some stuff. I'll let you know later on in the podcast. I had a huge thing planned out for you guys, anyways. So get ready, sit back, and let's dive in. This week's podcast, I'm going into the depths of the show, The Handmaid's Tale. I've heard so much about it through so many friends, so much stuff online, even podcasts that are like just straight guys. They were about it too, and I was like, what is this show? So, not this weekend, but the past weekend, I sat down and I did research for you guys. I was like live tweeting every single episode. So, if you don't follow me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter. I'm not okay, Danny G. And I had to tweet every episode. I was like, what is this? What is that? I was about it. So I watched all the seasons, 1 and 2. Had something to say about every episode. And now I'm going to break it down on my podcast and give you my thoughts. And I want to hear yours. Please, if you watch this show, I'm fully in it. I'm about it. And I'm ready to find more people about it. So, without further ado, let's dive in on The Handmaid's Tale. And I'm back. Hello, everyone. I am not dead. I am not depressed, and I have not forgotten you. I was going through the realest of the real, and I'll drop it on my podcast because I want to keep it real. I was not doing okay for a while. I'm still not okay in the full sense, but I had some stuff going on, and here it is. So, I was working at a place that I loved and still love, and being honest, I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but it wasn't doing the greatest. So I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I had to leave that situation in order to better myself, and it was very hard. And I was conflicted a lot of the times. There were so many times I wanted to, and I didn't, and I stuck it out. But in the end, I just had to go. So for a while, I was transitioning to this other place that I'm now working. And then with that happening, I was not able to take care of certain things, like bills and such. My podcast is very important to me, guys. Do not get me wrong, but so is my rent. So keeping it real 1,000%. I love my podcast. I look forward to my podcast. I knew I was going to skip a week because I wanted to actually watch The Handmaid's Tale every last episode to talk about. But this previous week that I missed was not planned, and I apologize. Like I said, I was just trying to get my life in order, my priorities straight. And now I have a new job that I love, and it is incredible, and I'm so thankful. Every day is a dream. I'm still in shock. And every day I'm like, this is my job. This is what I do. It is amazing. Not to say I didn't love my old job. I loved my old job with my whole heart, and I loved the people I worked with and the people I worked for. But obviously, they're not doing too good since that facility is closing down. So, I left just in the nick of time, to be honest. I'm being frank. I'm not throwing any shade, no tea, but I left in the nick of time. I didn't want to, and I was sad. But sure enough, as soon as I left, the news got out that they were actually going to shut the place down. So, I'm thankful I did leave when I did. So now that I've stripped myself down and told you the real deal, Holyfield, let's get into what this podcast is going to be about, because I'm sure no one cares about my life. Like, I'm 1,000% sure, and I know it, but I'm just putting it out there to maybe the 1 or 2 people who were like, yo, where'd you go? I'm back. So, this week's podcast is going to be about the show The Handmaid's Tale. And I had heard a lot about it, and I actually watched it a few months back, like when it first came out, before the hype. And no, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I started this trend before it was a trend. No, I watched it a long time ago with Jay, and we watched 2 episodes, and she was not feeling it. Wasn't about it, didn't like it, didn't want to watch it. And I was like, it's interesting. I want to know more. So I kind of put it on the back burner, and then, life got in the way, this and that, this and that. So then, fast forward to recently, I'm hearing about this show a lot on all these TV shows, podcasts, people I know, friends, the internet. Like, it's becoming a hype. And I'm like, okay, I remember it, but I don't remember it being that big. So what's this? What is it about? And I like I said, I saw it, so I had some reference to what it was about. So when I heard people talking about it, I knew, and I could say, okay. But I didn't know details when they broke it down. So that's what I'm going to do. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen the show, I'm going to talk about the show and episodes in the show. So if you don't want to know, or if you haven't watched it yet, pause this, go watch it, and come back and let me know what you think, because I'm going to break it down, and I want to know, because I don't think my opinion is going to be the same as everyone else's on some things, and other stuff it will, I'm sure. So, okay, The Handmaid's Tale, it came out in 2017, so a year ago. There's 2 seasons, and they are very, very good, and I recommend it. If you're looking for something to watch, because I'm one of those binge watchers, I love to binge. Actually, now that I finished The Handmaid's Tale, I haven't really got into anything. So my fallback is always The Office. 1,000%. That is my favorite show of all time. If you know me, the actual me, and have hung out with me more than 10 times, you know my favorite show is The Office. So right now I'm just kind of watching The Office until something speaks to me or someone says a show. I am watching American Horror Story. That's a later podcast. Tonight is the premiere of This Is Us. That's another podcast. But I have my shows I'm watching currently, but I am a binge watcher, so I haven't found anything really to get into. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. Okay, back to The Handmaid's Tale. So it takes place in the future, but it's now kind of time. It's not futuristic, like cars are flying and stuff, but it's the future where we have messed up as a society. And there's these superior people who have took it upon themselves to recreate a utopia. And because of our choices in life, fertility is a very big deal, and no one can have babies. It is just not happening anymore. So they create a new utopia. In this new utopia, there are women who are called handmaids, and their only job is to be assigned a family and have sex with the husband, get pregnant for the wife, carry the baby, give birth to the baby, help with the breastfeeding, and then once that's done, they are to leave that baby behind, forget about it, it's not theirs, even though it is her egg, and move on to another family. So, the first episode, you right away you don't know that. It's some girl's running in the forest with her husband and her kid, and they all get taken away, and you're like, oh no, what's happening? And then as the episode continues, you're kind of figuring this out very little. And it's so strange because even though it's the future this utopia took it back, way back. So no electronic, there's no one's driving except people who are assigned to drive. So every home is assigned a maid, but they're called a Martha. And the Martha is the one who takes care of the house. Then every home has a husband, a wife, a Martha, a driver who is also a security guard. And then they're assigned a handmaid who is to give birth for this family who can't do it on their own. So it's interesting. Right off the bat, you're like, what? That's kind of crazy. And, they have a special ceremony when the woman's ovulating. And like I said, they take it way back. So it's not like they have an app that's oh, you're ovulating in 3 days, girl. No, old school, the sun and the moon and fucking little dashes in paper. Old school shit. So they have a special ceremony, and the Martha's there, the security guy's there. The husband reads some passage from the Bible, because everything's very biblical to them. Everything's, God wanted it this way, and that's why we are the way we are. God wanted it that way. That's why you're being punished. You're this because God wanted you to be like that. And so They have a special ceremony, and then after that, every night the wife holds the handmaid's arms while the husband is just thrusting his sterile, disgusting little pee-pee into the handmaid until he finishes, and then hopefully she's pregnant. Pregnancy tests are banned, ovulation tests are banned, so they really don't know until you miss a period. And they don't even call it periods. They don't call them pads. They're not even allowed to have tampons. They're called napkins. So when the handmaid hasn't asked for her napkins that month, they assume she's pregnant. And it is just wild. And no one joined this willingly. The handmaids were not like, yes, I want to be a handmaid. Everyone was separated. People ran away, I guess, when the end of the world or the end of society was crashing down. So some people got away. The people who didn't were tested, and if you were found to have eggs that were still liable, or if you had children, you were chosen to be a handmaid. I don't know how the Marthas were picked, because some of the Marthas have had kids in the past. One of the Marthas was like a world's best doctor, but she's a woman, so she can't be a doctor in this utopia because only a man can do that. So I don't know how the Marthas are picked, but I know the handmaids are women who have had kids or are able to have kids. And they take them to this like little concentration camp, and then at the concentration camp they have an Aunt Lydia. That's her name. I don't know if that's her real name, but everyone calls her Aunt Lydia. The handmaids, the husbands, the wives, the Marthas, Aunt Lydia. And those are a whole nother group of people. And they kind of run the handmaids. Like, they make sure to follow in line. They help assign them a family. They're the ones who brainwash these women to, like, shut your mouth, open your legs, and give them a baby. And that's your job. And no one was doing this willingly. There were fights. There are some crazy shit going on in that little camp. So one of the girls, Janine, she's like this feisty redhead, so beautiful, funny, hilarious, like a free spirit, you could just tell. She said like the wrong thing at the wrong time. Bitch lost her fucking eye. They gouged her eye out. She's just out in the world with like her busted, nasty looking eye. And she's still a handmaid, still has to give babies. But bitch learned her lesson. They broke her down to the point where she thought it was okay what they were doing and finally gave in and believed this is what God wants. You know, they kind of, I've noticed all the handmaids like lose touch with reality, but then they also snap back. You know, I can see why breaking down there, finally you're like, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do and this is what God wanted. And then, you know, you think, okay, well, if he did, well, why wasn't this happening a long time ago? And then they kind of come back to like, that's not even my name. My name's freaking Carol, and I had 3 kids, and I had a job, and I was an executive at a firm or something. But now, I'm stripped down to being just a big old Sariat. So, it was crazy. That's the first episode, kind of figuring out what's going on, all that. We find the main character. Her name's Offred, and Offred is fertile. She's a handmaid. And she is struggling to fit into Gilead. That's the name of the place. And she is assigned a family. The commander and his wife. And the wife is a psycho bitch. Like, you could just tell right off the bat. She's one of those, like, I'm nice, but behind closed doors, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. So, it's a lot of fun. And she's just there to do her job. You can tell she's like, she's not crazy. She is fully aware of her real self. Her real name is June. She has a husband and a little baby girl named Hannah, and she knows it. And she's just pushing herself to get through this because in her mind, she will get back to her life with her family one day. Moving on, so, you know, that's, you're getting a little gist of everything, Gilead and all that. So then the next episode, Cuckoo Pants, Miss Janine, one-eyed redhead, is pregnant, and she gives birth to a baby, and so we get to see how the birthing process happens. Blah, blah. So what happens in the birthing process is that, say a handmaid gets knocked up, well, she gets impregnated, she carries the baby to term, and then they do old school, no epidural, no medication. Even the wife who's not pregnant is like doing some weird shit in the corner. Like, bitch, you ain't even pregnant. Why are you heaving and breathing and acting like you're in pain? I don't understand. Apparently, that's what the Bible said. And, you're supposed to feel the pain of the handmaid. You're not feeling it. If you're not having epidural, child pain is real and no one will compare it. No one can understand it. If you've never had a kid and someone else is having a kid, you can't say, I know what you're going through. You have no idea what they're going through. So, Offred helps Janine have her baby, and it's really, really weird. It's like I said, the wives are in a separate room doing some weird ass breathing. All the wives are there helping her, hold her hand, dab her head with a wet rag. I don't know why. Then all the handmaids are helping the handmaid. So all the handmaids, like Offred and all of them, are helping Janine have her baby, who's actually in labor. And she has to like squat in a chair and push her baby out. And when it gets closer to time, her wife or the wife comes behind her and is like supposed to be feeling the pain through her. I don't know. So anyways, the baby comes, and of course Janine, being the crazy bitch she is, is all about it, and she's so happy. But then they take away the baby and give it to the wife, who, that's her baby now. And it's allowed, it's the law, and it's okay. It's really sad. It doesn't even get to name the baby, nothing. She gives birth and gives it away, and that's it. And then she's like kept in a secret room to like just sit there and wait until the baby's hungry, and that's it. Offred is kind of like adjusting and seeing how things go, because like I said, she's new to the handmaid game. She just got assigned a family. All the girls kind of did. So they're all like, they meet each other, they all go grocery shopping together for the family, so they kind of have like these little social little conversations here and there, but it's not a lot. And then all of a sudden, the commander, the husband of the house in Offred's house, wants to have a secret meeting with her. And that is not allowed. And that's not allowed in the sense that the handmaid is not allowed to be alone with the commander. And I find that to be for good reason in this psycho, sick, twisted world. You don't want... Well, I mean, he's raping her anyway, so it's not like he's gonna rape her. He could just keep raping her, but they're not supposed to be alone, and I think the wife is supposed to feel better knowing that too, like give her a peace of mind. But some of these wives are freaking delirious and psycho. So then, they have the secret meeting, and Offred visits Janine, who had her baby, and is finding out the truth of what's going to happen, which is you are done. And once you're done breastfeeding this baby, you're out. In the process of, all these different handmaids, Offred makes a friend. Not really a friend. I don't know how they pick it, but every handmaid is assigned another handmaid to like go to the grocery store with, go to the little meetings they have. Whatever they do, they go in pairs. So Offred has a handmaid named Offglen, and she is an older woman. What's her name from Gilmore Girls? The daughter from Gilmore Girls. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. And I never saw Gilmore Girls. But I know of it, so the mother and the daughter. She's in Handmaid's Tale. Spoiler alert. Her name's Offglen, and she kind of starts hinting to Offred, like, hey, there's like this secret community I'm in, and we're gonna like take down this utopia, and we're gonna fuck shit up. And Offred's like, oh, she's not gone all the way, but she's kind of like being very cautious, which I understand. She's like, I want to know more, but at the same time, like, I don't want to lose an eye. Well, I don't know what Offglen did. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think word got out that she knew some shit. And, what happened was Offglen got caught with the Martha, because in her but before all this went down, she was a lesbian who also had a child that she gave birth to and was a professor at a college. Well, now, fast forward to now time, she was caught messing around with the Martha in her home, and she was punished. And her punishment was she got her clitoris cut off. So they gave Offglen a female circumcision, in the sense. They cut off her clitoris so that she would no longer have feelings, well, in their mind, urges, And if she never had urges anymore, she would no longer be a lesbian. Yet, she is still able to have children. So, after they're done chopping off her stuff and butchering her, they put her back into the world to go try and make more babies. It is disgusting and twisted and sad. And that's all because she got caught with a girl. So no one still knows that she's part of like some secret society, but because she's gone for a little bit, Alfred is worried that she got busted, and if she got busted, then maybe she's gonna get in trouble because Offglen did mention like, hey, your driver, he's in on it. He's like the eyes of the utopia. Be careful. So she got real scared. But that was not the case. She just got busted for being a lesbian. So, life is continuing. Alfred is still trying to have a baby. She's not trying. She's getting raped, trying to get impregnated by the commander and his wife. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, that guy was shooting blanks. Or, no, he wasn't shooting blanks. I'm sorry. He couldn't finish sometimes, which is, like, even harder because then it's like, what was the point of this? It's super sad. It gets depressing. Alfred starts kind of remembering her before life and even her life after, like at her little concentration camp with her friend Moira, who is very, very close to her. She knew her before. It is, someone very important to her. And after they were done at the concentration camp, they got separated. And Moira, we never know what happens to her. But Janine, crazy redhead, is like, oh, she died. She died a long time ago. So Alfred is under the impression that, like, the one person who was going to help her find her life and keep her sanity is dead. And so she starts to kind of lose her sanity. So now that Alfred is trying to get impregnated by the commander and it's not working, his wife, who saw one of her friends have a baby, is getting a little baby crazy. And not in the sense that, like, oh, I really want a baby. Like, no, bitch is, like, desperate. So she makes Alfred sleep with the driver, who is a very nice guy. He, you can tell, has a crush already on Alfred, so it's not surprising. And he agrees to it right away. So him and Alfred have sex while the wife is there to make sure it goes down, I guess. I don't know. So she has sex with him because she's that desperate to get Alfred pregnant. And the husband does not know. Like, I've heard of baby fever, but Jesus, the girl's already getting raped. She doesn't need to be getting raped by, like, more men. We don't know if it works or not, but then, we continue life. She's still also having to do her special ceremony with the commander. And then some people from Mexico come to Gilead, and they want to trade delegations with them and work out some trades and stuff. So Mexico comes, and Mexico's still the same. Mexico's still Mexico. Canada is still Canada. They're not part of this utopia. It's only the United States, like Texas, San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia. These places are all under the utopia. But sister countries are not. So when Mexico comes, they're like, oh, okay, we see what you're doing. You're so great. You're so awesome. They're like, Alfred, you're amazing. We can't believe you're doing this. You chose to have this life and help this woman have a baby, and of course she has to say yes, because if she doesn't, they could kill her. So she's like, yeah, I'm just this awesome person. Well, then after Mexico talks with Gilead and works all this stuff out, I guess Alfred was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep it real. She tells Mexico, the delegator from Mexico, this is not what I want. I didn't choose this life. I didn't choose to lose my family. I didn't choose to be raped every day. This isn't what I want. And then Mexico is like, so this is a lot. And we're sorry to hear that, but I really can't do anything for you. And she's kind of like, wow, I finally spoke up, told the truth, and you can't fucking help me? And I'm guessing one of the people from Mexico found out who she was, I guess, in the before life, and they were like, do you want to know anything out there? Or she's like, no, my daughter was taken away, my husband was killed. And then one of the people from Mexico was like, no, your husband's not dead, he's alive. And she's like, no, I heard him die, like I heard a gunshot. And then they were like, no, his name is this, and this, he's not dead. Do you want to leave him? Do you want us to give him a message? And All she said was like, I'm alive. Go find Hannah. I love you. Super short, super sweet. And I think that just like ignited a fire in that girl, knowing her husband was alive. And we always knew her daughter was alive. She just got taken away. She's like, okay, fuck this shit. I gotta get out of here. Like, I gotta get back to my life, or what's left of it. Now, Alfred is in the mindset of like, I gotta figure out a way to get out of here. I gotta figure out a way to like get back to my husband. So the commander's wife leaves to go visit her mother or somewhere or something, and the commander's left alone with the handmaid who he has a kinky fetish for, and he takes her out to like a brothel, but a utopia style brothel. So what it looked like, it was like a lounge hotel place. Women who weren't handmaids or weren't Marthas end up working here, and I guess they're prostitutes, but in this world they're called Jezebels, and they just kind of like have sex with the guys, and they do all the weird kinky stuff. So the commander took Alfred here to like do weird kinky stuff with her and let her drink because she can't drink, and you know, live all his disgusting fantasies with her. So while they're there, Alfred finds someone she knows. It's Moira. She's like, oh my god, bitch, where you been? Oh my god, I thought you were dead. And she's like, nah girl, I escaped and I became a Jezebel because I was not about to get raped every day by some dudes. So it's so weird because Moira is a lesbian. Moira is actually a Pusey from Orange is the New Black, and she's a lesbian in this show as well, and a lesbian in real life. And so she chose the life to, I guess, pick out who she was going to let rape her. And see, I get confused because, like, if you're a handmaid, you don't get to pick the guy who's going to rape you, the husband, like you're assigned. But I guess here it's different, and you don't have to get pregnant. You're just having sex to have sex. So she chose this life instead of a handmaid life. Alfred gets back to Gilead. She's still trying to find what Afghan was telling her about this like secret community, and I guess it got around that she was curious and asking questions. So one of the handmaids said, you have to go back to where the Jezebels are because there's a secret package there, and that is what's going to help us. That's what's going to break this for us. You have to go back and get that package. So Alfred, you know, does some scheme to get back over there. And the commander thinks, oh, you want to go back because you like the freedom and because I saw you talking to Moira. He doesn't know her name, but he's like, oh, I saw you talking to that girl over there, and so maybe you want to get kinky with her. She's like, nah, that's not the case, and that's not what I wanted. Well, anyway, she gets back and she gets the secret package, and it's just a whole bunch of letters of all these women around the world. I don't even know how these letters are getting sent because they're like not in envelopes. It's just like on toilet paper or on little scraps of paper. Also, side note, the handmaids are not allowed to write, not allowed to have paper or pen or anything like that. So I don't even know how they got these little pieces of paper and pen to write, but they all write down like their name, where they're from, who took them, and where they are now, and if someone could please help them. So it's just this big package of a huge calling for help. And it's given to Alfred, and she is now the leader of this community of raped women. So she needs to get this out and figure out what to do. Meanwhile, Janine, who had the baby, remember, crazy cuckoo head, one-eyed redhead, she's not doing good with this whole like you have to give up your baby. She's not about it. She got assigned a new family, and also the husband in that house told her like, oh, you're gonna give birth to this baby and I'm gonna take you away and we're gonna live happily ever after. And he would make her do a whole bunch of kinky stuff too. Well, Janine takes it upon herself to kidnap the baby and stand at the edge of a bridge, and she wants to jump off with the baby. She's like, this is my baby, and if I can't have her, no one's going to have her, and we're both just going to die. So Alfred, being the amazing person she is like, no, give me the baby. This is not how it's going to be. It's going to be okay. One day this will be your child again, and we will see the future. Janine gives back the baby, and she's like, all right. And then bitch jumps. Like, what? Bitch jumped off the bridge. The wife of the commander comes back and finds out some shit went down, and she's like, all right, this shit ain't flying with me. And she puts Alfred on lockdown. She's like, you're not allowed to go outside, even though you barely can go outside now. Like, you can't leave your room, Cinderella style. There's a special meeting called because Janine, cuckoo head, is not dead. She just hurt herself jumping off a bridge. Aunt Lydia decided her punishment would be to be stoned to death, and all the handmaids are to grab a stone and throw it at her until she's dead. No one wanted to do it. And we understand why. Well, I took it as no one wants to do it because it's not right what they're doing in the first place. So why does she have to be killed? The Lydias are looking at it as like, you stole this baby that's not yours, even though it is technically, and you have to pay for it. Offred, being like this badass bitch she is like, sorry, Aunt Lydia, I can't do it. She drops her stone. Then all of them are like, nope, we can't do it, we're sorry. So then begins the start of like a revelation of the handmaids are like, no, we're stronger in numbers than we are apart. And they're like, we're not about the siphon, we're not going to do it. Well, they get punished big time. One of them gets their tongue cut out. One of them has to put their hand over a hot burning like stove top. Well, Offred gets no punishment because she's pregnant. And no, we don't know whose it is. But, I mean, she was trying with the commander for a while and nothing happened. You go over to this guy she did it with one time. Like, you can kind of put the pieces together. All the while, though, she falls in love with the driver, and they start doing it all the time. They have a whole secret relationship. She's like sneaking out at night, and they're doing it, and they're not doing it like the way that they're supposed to in the Utopia. Like, they're getting down and dirty. So she gets pregnant, so she does not get punished. And it is just fucked up what they do to these girls. So Offred finds out she's pregnant, and we're like, oh shit. That's the end of season 1. You're kind of like, what's going to happen now? Come to find out, season 2, the driver knows she's pregnant and doesn't want her to give up their baby or live the life that she's going to have to live. So he secretly finds a way to get her out of Gilead and kind of into the world that they haven't dominated yet, which is like an apocalypse zone. Like, there's nothing. There's nobody, there's no food, there's no nothing. So like I was saying, the driver doesn't want his child or the woman he's falling in love with to be in this place. So he takes her to the like outskirts of Gilead, and she is like, I'm done with this shit. Like, I'm not gonna be Offred anymore. I'm fucking June, bitches. And it's pretty awesome and like super climactic. But it's also scary. It's like, oh shit, bitch, you might get caught. So you really don't know what's going to go on, but she ends up staying like at some abandoned newspaper place. You are hoping for the best, but not really sure what the fuck is going to happen. I'm sorry. So now that June is free and living on the road and being a rebel, shit's still going down in Gilead. So they were like building some amazing new building for the handmaids, like a new concentration camp for them. And the commander, June's, rapist, that's what he's called, is like the chief of the project or whatever. And there's like opening day and they're talking about it. And then all of a sudden, one of the handmaids who got her tongue cut out was like, fuck this shit. Fuck you. I'm done. So there's a big meeting inside of a building, right? And all the main people are there. All the important men are there. And then on the outside of the building, all lined up around it are all the handmaids. And they're like just standing there because it's supposed to be for them, but not really. She decides to just run in that building with a bomb. No one explains how this bomb is like made, how it's found. I don't know what she did in her before time. So maybe like that's what she did, or she worked with explosives. Came running in. And before anyone could do anything, the handmaids kind of got a gist because they were like, we're not supposed to run. So when she's running, they were like, we're going to leave. So they all start running away from the building. And she hits the detonator and that building explodes. And a whole bunch of handmaids die. And then a whole bunch of important men die. And the commander's like hurt. And oh my God. But it's so worth it. So worth it. So while Offred is like out doing her own thing, and, Gilead is in shambles, they start showing this other place called the Colonies. And this is where they send, like, the handmaids who can't have kids anymore, or, like, old women who still need to work. And you're not even sure what they're doing. Well, I'm not sure. They're, like, chipping away at toxic dirt in the ground. So they're all, like, gross and pus-infested. And one of the women who's there is Offglen, the one who got her, cut off. And while she's there, she's getting used to that life. She sees someone else come, and it is Janine. Because no one would stone her. She kept stealing her fucking baby. They sent her to the colonies. And while she's at the colonies, she, like, is totally fine with it. She's saying, this is what God wants. Maybe this is what I was supposed to do the whole time. No one ever said that. And so, you know, it's like, okay, it's like she's gone, and then it's the opposite. It's like most people are with it and then kind of lose it. She loses it, or sometimes she'll kind of get reality back in her mind. So Janine's just, like, out there. Well, Moira, we find out, because we haven't seen her in a while since, like, the whole Jezebel thing, she escapes too. But she escapes the right way, and she makes it to Canada. She gets out. And not only does she get out, she finds June's husband. Because when you go to Canada, they know the situation and they can't change it. So they say, give us a list of, like, all your family that could be dead, endangered, or in this place. Well, she was like, you know, I have no family. But June's husband knows that's her best friend, and he considered her family too. So when she got out, they contacted him. And it was just like, such a good feeling to see a family reunite after such a traumatic experience. It was like that little sliver of happy you just needed. Like, she's no longer going to be in pain. She's not threatened. June, we really don't know, like, if she's going to get out, if she's going to get caught. But, like, she's out at the moment. But this one, you're like, oh, you're in Canada? You made it. You're safe. June is caught. I was trying to, like, go around that. So, back to June. She's in that abandoned place. And then finally, they start sending her to different places. Kind of like the Underground Railroad. Like, okay, you stay here, and then you're going to get sent here. Someone's going to pick you up and take you to this place. And, like, the end goal was to get to this airplane of a guy who travels back in and out just delivering supplies, and he's going to sneak you out to Canada. She gets all the way to the airplane. In the airplane, he's driving off. Sure enough, it gets shut down. And she is taken back to Gilead, and she's, like, locked up. And then Aunt Lydia's like, okay, you are pregnant with their baby. This is not your baby. You better get it together. Because you can either go back to them if they'll take you, or we're going to lock you up to a chained bed until you have this baby and give it to them. So that little taste of freedom, I think, kind of messed with June. So she was like, all right, I'll play the part and I'll just do what I have to do. I will detach myself from this baby and from this life I thought I was going to live. So she gets to go back home with the commander and his wife, and then they have a baby shower for her. And it is the most twisted thing ever. Like, everyone's giving this wife all the presents, and then the handmaid just sits there and watches. Doesn't do anything. And then all the other handmaids are there too, just standing in the background. Like, what is the point of that baby shower? The commander okay, so then there's the creepy baby shower. So the commander notices Alfred looking at the driver the way he wants her to look at him. And that's just not happening. He's just a fucking creepy dude. Anyways, so the commander gets super paranoid and super jealous. And because of that, they start this new law where all the drivers get married to, like, 12, 13-year-old girls. So there's this special ceremony. Nick is married off to some little girl. And he was looking at Alfred the whole time, but ever since she got back, like, she has, like I said, disconnected herself and has detached herself from her body, her mind, her baby, and is like, I'm just here to be here. So she's really not even caring. Not that she's not caring, but she's just not showing emotion about it. And the whole time that she got back, she starts bleeding. And it's not like, you know, a little smear of blood. This bitch is bleeding puddles. And so she just keeps, like, shoving toilet paper in her vagine. And we're just assuming, well, I'm assuming, like, you're slowly losing this baby. And doesn't tell anyone. She just, like, continues life, continues walking, continues talking. And it's just like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Goes to the bathroom, and she's just bleeding. It's crazy. So finally, I don't even know, like, what happened. What happened? So she's just bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. Eventually, she passes out, like, outside, and Nick finds her, and he's shouting for help, and they take her to the hospital, and the baby's fine. It's just that happens sometimes, even though it was a lot of blood. So they're like, okay, you have to like be very, very careful. No drama, no fighting, no this, no that. She has to be, pampered almost in the best way she can, being a handmaid. So the wife, of course, now is like, oh, I'm so sorry, and oh, do you need anything? I'm like, bitch, shove it up your ass. Meanwhile, Moira back in Canada is trying to find what happened to June, because yes, she saw her, but she still doesn't know what happened. If she's dead now, if she's alive now. The attack of the building got out, so there's like a whole bunch of bodies that they're trying to identify. So she takes it upon herself to try to find June. In the process, she finds like her old girlfriend, and it is so sad, that whole story. That's a little bit of a mini story. I'll let you enjoy that one if you watch it, but that one got me in my feels, guys. All right, so time's passing, things are like settling down. Alfred has to be super safe, super careful. The wife is like trying to do her best to get along with her, even though it's super hard. And now that Alfred is like getting close to her due date, she's kind of coming back to who she is. She wants like this life with Nick, but he has a wife now who he doesn't even like because he loves Alfred. And it's like this really hard thing for her. She then all of a sudden is reunited with her daughter, and that again sparks a fire in her, and she's like, I want this baby. I want this baby, and I want Hannah, my baby. I want my family. So she sees her daughter. They're reunited for a very short time. And after that, Alfred faces like this thing of like, I don't want anyone around. I don't want to have my baby the way that Janine did. She's like, no, I'm not about that life. So she kind of escapes again. Not kind of, like, she runs away again. She goes to this empty house, and she like straight gives birth to that baby all by herself, home alone. Just like grunting, butt naked, next to a fire, pushing out a baby. Like, what a woman. What a woman. That is incredible. So she gives birth to the baby. She lets it be known where she is, so they find her and they bring her back. And the wife is like, okay, I don't want her around. She's already run off twice with my baby. Bitch is gone. So the baby goes to the wife and the commander, and they're just living their happy little life. And then Alfred is like stuck back at the little concentration camp, just pumping her little breast away. But because she's not around the baby, her body's not producing enough milk. So it's suggested the best way for this to go down is you go back to that house and be around that baby so you can feed the baby. And it is not taken like, oh yeah, sure, come on back. No, there's a lot of issues with it. She's just there to feed the baby. But she's also trying to like gain this relationship back with the wife, because at one point they were semi-nice to each other or semi-approachable to each other. And Alfred is like, I know this isn't my baby. I know. But in her mind, she's like, yeah, it's my baby. But she's like, I don't want my baby to live in this world. This world is so terrible. And this baby is going to have a horrible life. We're not allowed to read. We're not allowed to write. This baby's not going to be allowed to do those things either. So she kind of puts it in the head of the wife to like do something to change the way the world is, so that their baby in the sense of Alfred and the wife, Serena, that baby has like a better life. So Serena, thinking she has big balls, goes up to the commander and all of the big head honcho guys and is like, I want my baby to be able to read. I want women to be allowed to read. Even if it's just the Bible. We have that right. What are we doing to our children? And the men of this world are like, She's getting a little brave. Let's take her down a notch. Sure enough, they cut off Serena, the wife's fucking finger. Not her hand, thank God. Because I think, like, if you break the law the first time it's a finger, the next time it's a hand. So they chopped off her finger. It didn't even matter that that was the commander's wife. And in turn, he's ashamed and he's embarrassed of her. But she felt like what she was doing was right. And so did Alfred. And I believe it too. But, men try to rule the world, and we always see how that ends up. Towards the end of season 2, the baby's a few weeks old. I don't know, maybe a month or two. They really don't give you, like, time frames. But, it's still a little baby. But some time has passed. and some shit goes down in the world, well, in this utopia, and there's another opportunity for Offred to be free. And all the Marthas who know what she's done are like putting it out there that she's this good person and to get her and the baby out. So they make this secret underground railroad again from Gilead all the way out into the world. Like, all you have to do is make it to the end of this road and you are free and you are done. Offred's like, okay. And so she takes the baby and she's about to leave. And on her way out, the wife, Serena, sees her and she's like, what are you doing with the baby? No. But Offred, and this is my whole thing, I don't know if she was being genuine or she was manipulating her, but she's like, this isn't the life you just said you wanted for her. Give her to me so that she can have a better life. Let her go live her life. And Serena was like, okay. I mean, she wasn't like, yeah, sure. She cried and she hugged the baby goodbye. But she let Offred and the baby go. So Offred and the baby are like sneaking through like fields and dirt and tunnels. And they get all the way up to this car. And sure enough, in the car is Emily Offglen. You know, the lady who got her chipped off. And she is also escaping. And that's because when she got reassigned to a new family, after that explosion, they lost a whole bunch of handmaids. Like I said, they had to take some handmaids from the colonies back to like try to make it better. So Offglen got assigned to this guy who helped build the utopia, but I'm guessing he wasn't about it. Like, you could just tell he was off. He had like art in his room. He listened to music. He let his Martha talk back to him. His wife was kind of weird too. I didn't really understand her whole story. I don't know if I missed it or if they didn't explain it, but anyways, she gets assigned to that house, and then the Aunt Lydia's like, you know, you're not making a baby, what's going on? Offglen takes it upon herself to stab Aunt Lydia, push her down the stairs, and kill that bitch. She's like, oh yeah, you want me to give you a baby? Fuck you. You cut off my clit, you're done. So she killed Aunt Lydia, and instead of her master, I don't know what he's called, well, the head of the house, instead of him like turning her in or killing her, he wants her to get out of there, so he's setting her free. And in the process, Offred and her are put in the same car to escape. Offred is there in the car, I'm telling you, like right there, ready to go. And she's like, take the baby, take her out of here. She doesn't deserve this life. I'm gonna stay back and I'm gonna fix this. I'm like, girl, what are you doing with your life? You're just gonna, like, there's gonna be such big consequences. And that's where it ends. That's the end of season 2. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if the baby makes it, if Offglen makes it. I don't know what's about to happen to Offred. But I don't see her going back to that house like, oh, la, la, la. Here I am. Oh, where's the baby? I don't know. Like, some shit is about to go down in this utopia. And that's what makes the show so good. It's just like this nice, slow snowball. My only issue with the show is that, yes, sometimes it did take a while to get to some stuff, but it was always worth it in the end. So now we're on this big cliffhanger of like, what's gonna happen next? And I am so pumped. So pumped. My few questions are like, where's this baby gonna go? How is Offglen gonna find June's family? Also, in what world did June think she was gonna be able to go back to her husband and her original daughter, Hannah, and now she has another kid? What was that situation gonna be like? Because at one point, you thought you were gonna live a life with Nick the driver and the baby all made together. But then you also have Hannah. So did you think you were gonna have 2 baby daddies, 2 babies, and you? Like, I just don't get it, and I don't understand that. But I understand it's a utopia, so you're kind of like, your brain is split into 2 different worlds, your past and your present. But I have no idea what's going to happen, and I am so excited. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I am ready for season 3. This show is so good, guys. It's something to definitely binge over the weekend like I did, and like, just get in it. Put yourself in it, take everything else out, and be about it. I was so about this show. I cannot wait for season 3. Season 3 comes out in 2019. Let me see if there's a date. Let me see. No. So there's no date, but it does come out next year. So keep your eyes out and your ears open. for when the new show comes out. Because if you find out, let me know, because I don't want to miss this shit. It is good. Good. Such a good show, guys. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed my little synopsis of the show with my little commentary and opinions. I would love to hear your commentary and opinions, and I want to get a dialogue started like always. So please comment, be about it, talk about it. Tell me what I missed, if I missed anything. Tell me what you thought about the things that went down, whether it's big, whether it's small. Do you think this is right? Do you think this is our future? Please let me know, because God forbid if it is, I need to know now. But for now, that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed. I made this podcast super extra long to make up for being gone, y'all. So, I'm back. I will be back coming at you every Wednesday of the week. So please be ready. I am working hard. I'm not going to stop working. And I will continue to put out the content that you all listen to for some reason that I appreciate. It is no problem of mine. Please go follow me on all my social medias. My Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all of it. I'm Not Okay, Danny G. Look me up. Find me. Comment. Follow. Reply. I'll do the same back. I don't care. I just want to be a part of your guys' world because you let me be in yours. And I appreciate it every second of every day. I never once forgot about you guys. I did not forget. I was feeling guilty. I was posting pictures to let you know, like, yes, I'm doing something. Something big is coming. And then I was feeling bad about just posting the pictures. So you guys thought, oh, maybe she's never going to make a podcast again. But I did. And I'm back. And I hope you enjoy it. And as always, I'm not okay. Things may seem okay. I'm not okay. And I hope you're not okay. That way, we can not be okay together. All right, guys. Bye.